this is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. So today we're going to take a look here at some big boy stocks. Okay, we're going to take a look here at Amazon and Meta, Microsoft and Apple and Netflix and Google. All right, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy any stock on ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Amazon and Meta. Now you can see here where the old NASDAQ is taking a little bit of break today here, not really too much. But we're looking here pretty good. But just remember, a little bit of correction, a little bit of pullback, a little sideways action is not going to be really out of the realm, okay? Right now, you can see a lot of retail traders are coming into the market, in which they always come in there late, and that's usually a call for a topping situation, okay? So always take that into consideration, all right? So what you want to do is take the money and put it in your pocket. I'm not saying the market's going to collapse, don't get me wrong, nothing like that, but I'm just saying you're going to get a pullback here, so, you know, you can always rebuy. All right, let's take a look here at old Amazon. Now, Amazon had a really, really good jump up here. You can see here was the earnings kind of situation. Always look for that right there. We had the earnings came down a little bit, but then jumped right on here. But we left this big gap, which I never like. Now, we have this topping tail going on here, and all the way up to 214.84. That's not a good look. And then we have yesterday we had a red candle, and then we gapped down today. Okay, so let's look at the downside. So we want to watch. Right here, this is that 202.67. There's your gap now. And then we're going to look at the top of this candle. Okay, right there. This is your fill at 194.69. So gap and fill. But we have this 200-day sitting right here at that 199.69. And we have that 8 SMA sitting at 199.30. So as long as it holds that 8-day and that 200-day, we could get some sideways action. Maybe take this bad boy higher. Now, we have a gap and a fill on the upside here, too. So we want to watch today's high, 206.88. And then we want to come to the bottom of that candle right there, 208.85. So your gap, your fill, but we have this 100-day sitting right in the center at 207.80 level, okay? Now, if we can get above all that, say it just rallies back up, we want to look at the top of this candle. You're looking at 211.93, and then that 214.84, that's going to be key. And then what we do is all we do is bring this price channels right across. And these are your upside targets, okay? Very, very easy. 219.97. We just look at the top of this candles, keep right on going until we hit that 242.52 level. But right now, we got the 100-day, which is going to be big resistance on the upside, but we got that nice 200-day and that 8-day on the downside. And look how nice this 21-day here is crawling up here over that 50-day. Now, yesterday at Midday Trading, I posted the seasonality charts for the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P here. Now, it looks like the Dow and the S&P, you know, have a bigger pullback, and then where the NASDAQ, it just keeps right on, gradually running right on up here. But be a little patient, because what we have, see, when this RSI hits that 70, that means you're getting to an overbought condition, okay? Then she wants to pull back a little bit. Your green is still over your red, so it's good momentum, but that can go sideways. So just be a little bit leery of all these stocks here in the old NAS. Okay, so now we have Meta. Now, Meta had a nice good run. You can see how we gapped up right here. Here was the earnings. We gapped right on up here, so always pay attention to this gap, okay? So you're looking at 549, and then we look to the bottom of the candle. You're looking at 570. So your gap and your fill. So that's going to become support, but we have a lot of simple moving averages here, which is very, very nice. Now, we have another gap here, okay? You see the top of this candle? Okay, so you got 606.97. Then we look to the bottom of this candle here at 621.03. So you got another gap and a fill, another gap and a fill situation going on. Then we have a gap and a fill all the way down here. But you can see how this 8-day, see how it crossed the 21-day, 50-day, 200-day? Very, very nice. So if this comes down and holds that 8-day and that 100-day, that could be a good buying opportunity here to take this bad boy higher, okay? So what we're watching here is this 8-day on the bottom. That's going to be very key. That's at 622.63. And then we want to watch this 614.32. That's 100 SMA. And then again, if that's lost here, oh, we got a plane coming over. Okay. Then we have is 586.34. There's your 200-day, and then we have your 50-day right underneath this at 575. So you got a lot of good support here, but just watch this 8-day. That's very, very critical. So if it comes down there, have a little sideways action, a little consolidation, that would be good. The same way we have on Amazon. Now, you can see here where the green got up to that red area, got to an overbought situation. Now she's pulling right over. So always watch that RSI. It tells you a lot. Same way with your MACD. You got good momentum, but, you know, we got to see how this all shakes out. Now, say it gets right back up here and it goes right above this price channel. Let me see what that price channel is. Okay, 662.67, okay? So what we do is we just, we looked at that candle right there. What do we have? You got 659.50. That was your resistance level. Then we just come right up to the next level up here. We just 681, and then we just bring them price channels right across. Okay, you got 688.65. We come up here. We're looking at 703.87, and then you work your way all the way up to 740.91 here. But again, we need a little bit of pullback as this is getting to that over bought condition. This is really overbought condition, but then look how that end result resulted, okay, all the way on down. So always be a little bit leery. Okay, let's take a look here now at, let me see here, at Microsoft and at Apple. Okay, here we have Microsoft, here we have Apple. Now you can see here, this was the earnings situation going on right here. You can see where it just gapped up and just took right on off here. But look at this RSI here, okay? So just watch it. You are getting to way overbought condition the same way here with your MACD here, okay? So when a lot of people look at the charts, they say, well, no big deal. We're just going to keep running. No, 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 no. You always want to watch that when it starts getting to that overbought condition, okay? So now we're creeping up here. So your high is 456 level. So when you look right across here, top of this candle here, you're looking at 456 level. So right there, that was your resistance zone, and you went resistance area, and you went right into it. Now, if we keep right on running over here, so what we do, we come up to the top of this candle here. You're looking at 457, and you can crank her all the way up to that 468 level. But right now, we just have this. It's just very, very parabolic situation. I never like getting into stocks, anything like this. I like getting into when it's like all the way down and where nobody wants it, where you have an oversold situation here, oversold situation. That's where you want to buy this and take it up here, not extending yourself way on top. It's always going to come down, but you can always rebuy it. That's the key. Now, 8-day here sitting at 443.81, but you got this huge, huge gap here. See this? Okay, so you're looking at that 429.90. There's your gap. And then we want to look to the top of this candle here at that 396.66. There's your fill, okay? Now, we have this 200-day, which is looking very nice, 414. We have your 21-day at 411. And we have the Hondo here sitting at 407. And then we have 395 all the way down here on your 50-day. But this is getting like a parabolic move here. So I say, if you own it, you can ride it out, but use a stop, okay? But again, don't take initial position at this level. Okay, now here we have the old Apple. Okay, now Apple, you can see where it gapped right up here. This was the earnings, came right on down, and then it kind of went up here. But right now, this isn't really one of my favorite stocks. It's just too slow for me, kind of like a turtle kind of an action. I like it, but you know, it's okay. So upside, we're looking at that 214.56 level. Okay, now if it can break above that, here's your gap fill. You want to look at right at the bottom of that candle, 221.02. Okay, and then we can come up to the 100-day at 214.16, and then we have your 200-day sitting at 226.28. Okay, but you have to get and close above that 214.56, otherwise you're not going up there. Okay, now downside here, we want to watch that 15, 208.97. Okay, and then we have this gap right here. So you look at the bottom, 206.75. There's your gap. And then we look to the top of that candle at 254. There's your fill. Okay. And then we have your 8-day and your 21-day. So you do have a lot of support here. You got your 50-day, your gap, your fill. We have this 21-day and the 8 SMA here. So a lot of good support levels going on here. But just watch that key level, that 214.56. If you can get above that, then we have the 100-day and the 200-day. That's going to be your upside target situation. Now, you can look at here's where this is sitting more normal. Here, you're sitting at 55. Your green is still over your red, so it shows momentum. It's not that overbought situation like on this here. But Apple right now, I don't think anything that's really that great. I'll say, hey, I have to get into the old Apple situation. I would just kind of like wait for a pullback and let some of this support hang out here, and then we can just take another trade. Okay, let's take a look here now at Netflix and Google. Okay, here we have Netflix, here we have Google. Now you can see Google just an absolute great run. Okay, so here was the earnings here 2 times ago. Gapped right on up, took right on off. Okay, just selling off in the overall market. No big deal. Okay, here we have the last earnings, took right off, and then just keep running sideways action. Now looks like we're breaking out. We had a high there of 1174. Well, obviously your next target is going to be real obvious. It's 1200. Okay, I wish the stock would split. I'm long this stock, but I just wish it would split. You could buy a lot more shares then, okay? But anyway, what you're really looking at on a closing basis is that 1164 level, okay? Now, they got a lot of good stuff already lined up for the football, okay? So even like Christmas Day, they're going to have 2 games on the Netflix, and then Amazon's going to have a game. So it's going to be, you're not going to be able to just go and click your TV on anymore and watch a football game. Okay, you got to have this app and this app and this app and this app. Okay, so it's going to cost you a fortune here just to watch a game now. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I have other ways around that, but I just say, most people don't, and they don't. If you do a little research, you go on the internet, you can watch anything you want for free. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, so what we're looking at is that 1164, that's going to be key. And then we're going to look for this 1143, that's your 8-day. And then we have this 1102. Now, this needs a little bit of a situation. See what we have here? See, we're getting this negative divergence. See how we have this high situation here? We have a high. Now, if this keeps right on running up here, see, we have this negative divergence here. So just be a little bit careful. So if we get a correction, this is going to come along with it, okay? So just watch that RSI. And I say, and that will make you money. If it keeps right on running and you own it, just watch that 1200 mark. That's going to be the key. Now, here we have Google. Now, Google isn't really, it's like Apple. It isn't really doing a whole lot of here. So on the upside, we're watching that 167. Okay, that's that price channel. That was yesterday's high. If we get above that, we're going to go to that 170.95 level, and then we're going to come up here. We're looking at that 174.26 level. Okay, now, if we can break all that, I just want to show you for something for down the road. We look at the top of this candle right here. That's 192.75. There's your gap, and that'd be an upside target. And then we look to the bottom of this candle here at that 202.81. That's another target. So just remember, if we can break through that price channel, that 100-day, 200-day, here's your big targets, is this gap and that fill, okay? Okay, it always will fill it eventually. Okay, so always remember that. Now, here on the downside, got a lot of support here. Look at it. Got the 50-day, 159. We got this 20-day, 158. We got the another 158 here on that 8-day. So you got a lot of good support going on here. But again, you have to crack above that 200-day and that 100-day here. Then our big target, we had that gap in the fill. Now, I'm not saying today. I'm not saying tomorrow. But I'm just saying if this thing gets running, watch that gap, watch the fill. Those are the upside targets. Then we have your breakout at 207. Now, RSI, looking at not too bad here, 58 level. This here, your green is over your red. This is still looking okay. But it looks just like we have some sideways action here. Nothing really to write home about. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after the OPIC close, and we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, crude oil, natural gas, and then we'll take a look at all the indexes, the Dow, the S&P, and the old NASDAQ. Now, remember, just don't be afraid to take some money, put in your pocket. Don't listen to all these talking heads on CNBC, or you're going to go into a recession, or, this market is going to go to a rally up higher. Say, trade the charts, okay? Do your own homework, trade the charts. That's how you make money. Consistent money every day in your pocket. You start on Monday. By the time you get to Friday, you're going to say, holy shit, look at all this money. And that's exactly how you trade consistently, and that's how you stay in this business. Okay, trade what's in front of you. Now what you want.